High above the canyons of southwestern Colorado, carved into the golden sandstone cliffs of Mesa Verde National Park, lies one of North America's most extraordinary ancient cities, Cliff Palace. From a distance, it looks almost unreal-like, a dream frozen in rock. More than just ruins, Cliff Palace is a silent storyteller, whispering tales of human resilience, intelligence, and deep connection with nature. Built by the Ancestral Pueblo people over 700 years ago, this massive cliff dwelling was once home to a thriving community that mastered architecture, astronomy, and survival in one of the harshest landscapes imaginable. What makes Cliff Palace so powerful is not only its size, over 150 rooms and 23 kivas, but the mystery that surrounds it. Why was it built in such a difficult location? How did its people live, farm, and protect themselves high above the canyon floor? And perhaps the most haunting question of all, why was it abandoned? As we journey chapter by chapter through the history of Mesa Verde Cliff Palace, we will explore its origins, daily life, spiritual world, engineering brilliance, and the unanswered questions that still echo through the stone walls today. This is not just the story of a place. It is the story of a people who turned cliffs into homes, stone into shelter, and silence into legacy. Long before the first stone of Cliff Palace was laid, the land of Mesa Verde was already alive with meaning. Rolling mesas, deep canyons, and scattered springs formed a landscape both beautiful and unforgiving. For thousands of years, early peoples moved through this region, hunting game and gathering plants. Over time, these nomadic groups began to settle, slowly learning the rhythms of the seasons and the secrets of the land. The ancestors of the Ancestral Pueblo people initially lived on the mesa tops, building pit houses partially underground to protect themselves from extreme temperatures. These early homes were simple, but they marked a turning point from wandering survival to permanent settlement. Corn, beans, and squash became the foundation of their diet, and farming tied their lives closely to rainfall and climate. Mesa Verde itself offered both opportunity and danger. While the high elevation provided natural protection and cooler temperatures, it also meant limited water and unpredictable weather. Survival required cooperation, planning, and innovation. Over generations, knowledge was passed down: when to plant, where to build, how to store food, and how to read the sky. This deep relationship with the land shaped everything that followed. Cliff Palace was not built by accident. It was the result of centuries of adaptation and learning. The cliffs, once seen only as boundaries, would soon become shelter. And the people who understood this land better than anyone else were ready to transform stone walls into a living city. The decision to build Cliff Palace inside a massive rock alcove remains one of the greatest mysteries of Mesa Verde. Life in the cliffs was difficult. Access was limited, sunlight was reduced, and every trip in or out required strength and balance. Yet around the late 1100s, the Ancestral Pueblo people began moving from mesa-top villages into these stone shelters. One reason may have been protection. During this period, evidence suggests increased conflict and competition for resources. Cliff dwellings offered natural defense. From high above the canyon floor, residents could see approaching danger long before it arrived. Narrow pathways and ladders made it easier to control access to the village. Climate also played a role. The alcoves provided shade in summer and retained warmth in winter, creating a more stable living environment. The sandstone absorbed heat during the day and released it slowly at night, helping regulate temperature. Additionally, the overhang protected structures from rain and snow, preserving the buildings for centuries. Spiritual beliefs may have influenced the choice as well. The Ancestral Pueblo people saw the world as deeply connected: sky, earth, and people forming one sacred balance. Living within the rock may have symbolized harmony with the earth itself, a return to the womb of nature. Whatever the reasons, building in the cliffs was a bold and deliberate choice. It required advanced planning, teamwork, and faith in shared knowledge. Cliff Palace was not just a shelter, it was a statement of identity, strength, and survival. Cliff Palace is the largest cliff dwelling in North America, and its architecture is nothing short of astonishing. Constructed from sandstone blocks, held together with mud mortar, the village rises multiple stories high within the alcove. Some walls once stood over 3 stories tall, showcasing a level of engineering far ahead of its time. The builders carefully shaped stones using harder rocks as tools, fitting them together with remarkable precision. Wooden beams, cut from nearby forests, supported roofs and upper floors. These beams were carried long distances, proving that the people of Cliff Palace were willing to invest enormous effort into their homes. The layout of the village was intentional. Rooms were tightly clustered, conserving space and maintaining warmth. Many rooms served as storage areas for corn and other crops, while others were living spaces. The presence of 23 kivas circular ceremonial rooms reveals the importance of community gatherings and spiritual rituals. Doorways were often small, forcing people to bend as they entered. This may have helped retain heat, but it also encouraged humility and respect. Windows and ventilation openings were positioned carefully to allow light and airflow without sacrificing safety. Every stone, beam, and doorway tells a story of intelligence and adaptability. Cliff Palace was not built randomly. It was designed with purpose, reflecting both practical needs and cultural values. Even today, its walls stand as a testament to human creativity carved directly into the earth. Life in Cliff Palace followed a rhythm shaped by nature and community. At sunrise, the village would slowly come alive. Smoke from cooking fires drifted upward as families prepared simple meals of corn, beans, and squash. Children learned by watching their elders, absorbing skills that would ensure survival. Women played a central role in daily life. They ground corn using stone tools, prepared food, made pottery, and cared for children. Men often farmed the mesa tops, hunted game, and worked on construction or repairs. Everyone contributed because survival depended on cooperation. Despite the challenging location, Cliff Palace was a social place. Neighbors lived close together, sharing tools, food, and stories. Laughter, conversation, and ceremony filled the stone corridors. The kivas served as spiritual and cultural centers where important decisions were made and traditions were passed down. Life was not easy. Droughts could destroy crops, and winters could be harsh. Yet the people adapted, storing food for difficult times and supporting one another through hardship. Their strength was not only physical but emotional and communal. Daily life in Cliff Palace was a balance between work and worship, survival and tradition. It was a life deeply connected to the land, the seasons, and the people who shared the stone walls of this remarkable home. Spiritual life was at the heart of Cliff Palace. The Ancestral Pueblo people believed that the physical and spiritual worlds were inseparable. This belief was expressed most clearly through the kivas round, underground ceremonial chambers found throughout the village. Each kiva was carefully constructed with stone walls, a fire pit, and a small hole in the floor called a sipapu. The sipapu symbolized the place where humans emerged from the underworld, connecting the people to their origins. Entering a kiva was an act of reverence, a reminder of where life began. Ceremonies held in the kivas marked important events such as planting, harvest, and seasonal changes. Elders and spiritual leaders guided rituals, using songs, prayers, and symbolic objects. These gatherings strengthened community bonds and reinforced shared beliefs. The placement of kivas throughout Cliff Palace shows how central spirituality was to daily life. They were not hidden or separate. They were woven into the heart of the village. Faith was not something practiced occasionally, it was lived every day. Through the kivas, the people of Cliff Palace expressed gratitude, sought guidance, and maintained balance with the natural world. Even now, standing near these sacred spaces, one can feel the deep spiritual energy that once filled the stone chambers. Although Cliff Palace itself is built into a cliff, farming took place primarily on the mesa tops above. The Ancestral Pueblo people developed sophisticated agricultural techniques to survive in a dry and unpredictable climate. Rain was precious, and every drop mattered. They planted corn, beans, and squash, known as the Three Sisters because these crops supported each other. Corn provided structure, beans restored nutrients to the soil, and squash spread across the ground to retain moisture. This system maximized yield while protecting the land. Check dams and terraces helped control water runoff, preventing soil erosion. Storage rooms in Cliff Palace held surplus crops, allowing the community to endure droughts and poor harvests. Food security was a constant concern, and careful planning was essential. Farming required daily travel between the cliff dwelling and the fields above. These journeys were dangerous and tiring, yet necessary. The people understood that their survival depended on respecting the land and working with it, not against it. Agriculture was more than food production, it was a sacred relationship with nature. Each harvest was a gift, and each drought a lesson. The success of Cliff Palace was rooted in this deep agricultural wisdom. Cliff Palace was not an isolated world. The Ancestral Pueblo people were part of a vast network of trade and communication that stretched across the American Southwest. Evidence of this connection can be seen in artifacts found at Mesa Verde: turquoise, seashells, copper bells, and macaw feathers. Materials not native to the region have been discovered in the ruins. These items came from distant places, including the Pacific Coast and Mesoamerica. Such trade required trust, negotiation, and shared cultural understanding. Trade routes allowed not only goods but ideas to travel. Architectural styles, farming techniques, and spiritual practices evolved through these exchanges. Cliff Palace was both a receiver and contributor to this larger cultural network. These connections strengthened the community, providing access to rare materials and reinforcing alliances. They also remind us that the people of Cliff Palace were not primitive or isolated, they were skilled participants in a complex social world. Through trade, Cliff Palace became part of something much larger than itself. Its walls may have been stone, but its influence reached far beyond the cliffs. By the late 1200s, life at Cliff Palace began to change. Archaeological evidence suggests increasing stress within the community. Droughts became more frequent and severe, reducing crop yields and threatening survival. As resources grew scarce, competition may have increased. Defensive features became more prominent, and some signs of conflict appear in the archaeological record. The once stable balance between people and land was under strain. Social changes also occurred. Some rooms were abandoned or repurposed, and construction slowed. These shifts suggest uncertainty about the future. The people of Cliff Palace faced difficult decisions, weighing tradition against survival. Despite their resilience, the challenges were immense. Climate change, limited resources, and social pressure combined to create an unsustainable situation. The stone walls that once symbolized security could no longer guarantee safety. This period of stress marks the beginning of the end for Cliff Palace, but not the end of the people themselves. Sometime around 1300 CE, Cliff Palace was quietly abandoned. There is no evidence of sudden destruction or violent collapse. Instead, it appears the people left deliberately, taking many of their belongings with them. The reasons for this departure remain debated. Prolonged drought, resource depletion, and social change likely played major roles. Rather than face starvation or conflict, the community chose to move south, seeking new opportunities and more reliable water sources. This decision reflects wisdom rather than failure. The Ancestral Pueblo people adapted once again, just as their ancestors had done for centuries. They carried their traditions, beliefs, and knowledge to new lands, where their descendants still live today. The empty rooms of Cliff Palace became silent, but not forgotten. The stones remained, preserving the memory of those who once called this place home. Today, Mesa Verde Cliff Palace stands as a powerful reminder of human ingenuity and resilience. Protected as part of Mesa Verde National Park, it invites visitors to step back in time and reflect on the lives that unfolded within its walls. Cliff Palace is not just an archaeological site. It is a sacred place. For modern Pueblo peoples, it represents ancestral heritage and cultural identity. Respect and preservation are essential to honoring this legacy. As we look upon the stone dwellings, we are reminded that greatness is not measured by size or power, but by harmony with the land and community. The people of Cliff Palace mastered this balance, leaving behind lessons that still matter today. Though centuries have passed, Cliff Palace still speaks. Its walls echo with the footsteps of children, the prayers of elders, and the quiet strength of a people who refused to be forgotten. In the silence of the cliffs, their story lives on, carved in stone, carried by wind, and remembered by all who listen.